Okay. All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Pham. I'm the dean here at the School of Osteopathic Medicine in San Antonio, Texas. Allie Macomb here is also online with us. She's our director of admissions, so she can ask her any questions about our admissions process or anything of that nature. I understand that most of you guys are undergrads looking into interest in going to medicine in general. And to me, I just kind of want to. I love this presentation when I talk to pre-med students about their journey, where you're going to go forth. And then I'm going to talk about our profession in general, and then I'll open up to questions at the end. But it's always a fun question to see that where you're going and what do you guys want to do in the future. So let me start. Um, so where are you doing right now, right? What are you guys at right now? You guys are in college, right? You're going to college, going to UCF, doing all your prerequisites for your health profession schools, where regardless if you're going to medical school, pharmacy school, whatever that nature is, you're in the process of getting to that level now. Then you're at schools, right? We're at UIW and you're in medical school. I'm at the medical school. You're in college, right? So then after college, what do you guys look at? You guys look at, okay, I'm going to look at the health professional schools. Am I going to apply to? Whereas an MD school, DO school, or any other professional schools you're looking at. So when you're in medical school, there's just way so much to learn and you're completely confused. The process of getting to medical school is nuts in itself. We get thousands of applicants to go in medical school, but it's so confusing. And then that's where your hopefully your schools are supporting you with your admissions process to get you to where you want to go. And when you're in medical school, remember, you're poor. It's expensive going to school. You have to live like a starving student. And so you got these big loans, doesn't mean you're going to be able to go spend and have fun. You gotta live like a starving student because it's going to be very expensive. Um, and so what do we do in the first 4 years of your medical education, right? The four years of medical school is this. The first 2 years of your education is basically learning the basics in clinical medicine. And then your second year, learn a little bit more of the basics and more stuff. In your third and fourth year, you take all that material you learned in the first 2 years and you start applying it to your clerkships. You go on your rotations to be, it's either internal medicine, family medicine, surgery, psych, all that stuff. And then your fourth year, you start figuring out, okay, now what I want to do when I grow up. I mean, I'm going to get my doctorate degree in 4 years, end of the fourth year, but then I'm going to determine what kind of residency, what kind of profession I want to do. Medical school only gets you the degree. It doesn't give you your specialty. I'm a family physician, so after medical school, I went to 3 years of family medicine residency to become a family physician. So here's the hierarchy of medicine, how the road of medicine is all about. You start in college, which you guys are all in college in here. Some of you guys doing it in 3 years, some do 4 years, some do 5 years. It's okay. Some of you take a gap year, which is fine as well. Then you go to medical school, and that's your hope that you guys all want to go to, and that's another 4 years of school. Then the first year of residency is usually called the internship year after you graduate medical school. And then you start your residency programs after that. It goes anywhere between 3 years to 7 years. And then you become an attending physician like I am. And there's a light and a tunnel. But it's a long journey. So this is kind of a fun slide we have. If you're a medical student, you're trying to determine this is not evidence-based, but it's kind of a fun thing. If you're crazy, your attention span is significant, you want to go to psychiatry. If you're non-existent, you want to be an emergency doctor. If you're a sane person and hardworking, not so much. You go down here. If you're afraid of the dark, you go and you like big things. You go to become a dermatologist or become a jock and be ortho and so forth. It's a fun thing. It's not scientific, but it's a kind of humor that as docs like to do sometimes. So here's a length of medical specialty training. Whether you're going to MD school or osteopathy school, the residency years are long. So you got 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school. Then for us, MD and DO, we're the same. You can go into all these subspecialties. Most DOs tend to go into primary care, which is family medicine, internal medicine, OB, and pediatrics. But a lot of our students also go into these pathology, uh, dermatology, anesthesia. So as you see, the time frame of these residency programs is after medical school, and the minimum is 3 years, all the way up to 6 or 7 years of neurosurgery. So then you become an intern. That's your first year. Out of that, you graduate from medical school. You go from a short coat to a long coat. Then they call you doctor, and you're just freaking out. Me, doctor? Yes, you are a doctor. You got the degree, but you learn to become what kind of doctor you're going to be. So every time I tell students when you're in your residency, Sam, you get some sleep, get some sleep, get some rest you can, get that work-life balance into place, or else it's going to be tough for you because you're going to do long hours in hospitals and so forth. And always if you don't drink coffee, you're probably drinking coffee in the future to kind of keep going. But it's just medical school is not as hard. It's just a lot of stuff, a lot of volume, a lot of knowledge. And you learn all that in kind of undergrad. Undergrad gives you the kind of basic foundation of certain things. And then in medical school, it's accelerated for what we teach you in 2 years. And again, get more sleep. And then the cool thing about medicine is that you get to work with teams like this. You get to work in a team, you work together, you're collaborative. And medicine it's a team sport. As a physician, yeah, we kind of at times lead the charge, but we need the nurses, we need the social workers, we need pharmacies, we need everybody to take care of our patients, and that's key. The why you want to be a physician is to really take care of people and take care of patients. Or you can be a team player like with the teams on Scrubs, or you can be working with these guys, right? And that's kind of cool things about being a physician. So then after you finish, you survive your residency, then you become an attending, right? So the question I always ask students in live is, what grade will you be in when you're done with complete medical school? Anybody have an idea? How many years of school have you been in? You put in the chat if you want, or I'll tell you. So think about you went to 4 years of medical school, 4 years of, I'm sorry, 4 years undergrad, 4 years of med school, and your minimum 3 years of residency. By the time you're all completely done, you'll be in the 23rd grade. That's a core of your life in education. You know, it's a long journey. So when I do these presentations, I want to make sure students go into medicine for the right reason because it's not an easy task. You have to know that this is what you want. This is the journey. This is your calling. And if you commit to this calling, it's going to take a long time to get there. There's going to be obstacles up and down you got to go through, but it's a long journey. And so you have to make sure that this is the right journey for you and to become a physician. So it's 23, you're in 23rd grade when you finish. And that's what I did when I was finished. I was 23rd grade. Um, so now I'm going to talk about osteopathic medicine in a little bit for you can understanding the team. There are two fully licensed physicians in the United States. One is an MD. We all know MDs can, do surgery, prescribe medication, and do surgery and see patients. There's other entity of medicine is an osteopathic physician, and we do the same thing, see patients, prescribe medicine, and so forth. The approach to osteopathic medicine is more of a holistic approach to a person. We look at wellness and prevention. We say that, give the body natural tendency to heal itself. We give them that nurturing thing to help. But we go through the whole thing. So we look at the body as a whole. These are the basic foundation tenets of osteopathic medicine, the mind, body, and spirit. You give the body enough, capability to self-regulate, self-healing, and health maintenance. All these things interrelate each other so that the body can heal and be in good maintenance. I look at this, I always tell students during interviews saying, okay, as a physician, this is what all of us should do. We look at a patient, when the patient comes into my ER, if I'm an ER physician, I look at them. If they're bleeding out, they're bleeding, I'm going to look at them. I'm going to assess them, look at their whole person to see, are they going to crump on me or not? Do I need to, or can they put pressure and they can wait to get seen in the ER like we wait all the time in ER? If they're in an acute situation, so I got to look at the whole person. Then when I come in, I look at their laceration. I look at their laceration. I look at the wound, see if there's anything that needs debride, check for any vascular bundle issues. I got to look at the whole thing. Then I put sutures in it. Then I approximate, bring the wound together, I suture it, and then let the body's own immune system, collagen system heal itself. I don't heal as a physician. I assist in the body's ability to heal itself. It just makes sense on how we approach a patient is give the body the right nurture, give the body thing to heal itself. And that's why I think osteopathic medicine is all about. The additional thing that people hear is also is we use our hands, we have manipulative skills. We can take care of, aches and pains of people that come in muscle skeletal problems, that come in low back pain. Yes, I can see a patient, prescribe them medication, do x-rays, do all that stuff, but I also have the additional skill to kind of maybe adjust their back, align their muscle skeleton things so that they can heal faster with maybe less medication and so forth. I mean, if it's a gallbladder problem, I'm not going to manipulate a gallbladder. I'm going to send it to a surgeon. So that's how we approach things. So MDs can do, see patients, prescribe medicines, do surgery, but they can't do manipulations. DOs can prescribe medication, see patients, do things, but we also have that added on manipulating skill. To me, the hand is a powerful tool, right? How many times you see a patient, you being a patient going to see a doctor, and the doctor is doing something, but they're typing, they're on the computer, they're putting, and they're not looking at you. For us, it's a powerful hand. The powerful touch is important. It's the patient's in front of you, not a computer system. So to me, it's important for I train my students to make sure that you got to remember the patient is in front of you, not your computer system, not a monitor or whatever. Their patient is in front of you, and you use that hand not just because just manipulation, just the fact that you shake their hands, put their stethoscope on the heart, listen to the heart and lungs, listen to your patients. That makes you a complete physician, in my opinion. And so that is kind of a tenet of our profession. And that is something that, yes, I did manipulation as a family doc in practice. Not a lot. I did some. Not and you guys are probably going on rotations and you shadow a doctor and they're probably a surgeon and you don't see them do manipulation, but you have that DO behind their name. They don't do manipulation, but they know how to approach the patient. And this is kind of the philosophy of osteopathic medicine. Okay. The training for both DOs and MDs are identical. Okay. We both go to college. And then we both you go to allopathic, which is the MD school, or you go to osteopathic school, which is 4 years. And then after that, you do your first year or residency or internship. They're all lumped together these days. So it's usually your first year is your intern year. And then after that, you do your 2 to 7 years of residency. Now that all residencies are the same match wise. MDs and DOs go to the same residency programs all across the country. So you won't know the difference unless you see a DO, how they approach a patient, or they decide to do manipulation. That's really a little significant difference between us and our MD colleagues. And you can do any specialty you can want to go into. So, for example, our student body, this past year class, last year's class, they all had jobs. Everybody had a job when they graduated from medical school, and a lot of them went to primary care, family medicine, internal medicine, peds, and psych. But a lot of our students also went to other specialties as well, ortho, OB, pathology, and so the sky's the limit as an osteopathic physician. We do more primary care, but all of our students go to specialty. So half my students go to primary care, half my students go to specialty care. So the ladder to your dreams is really what you guys want to make out of it. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of things to get to where you're at. You're in college right now trying to figure out, okay, what's the pathway I'm going to go? If it's the pathway to go to medical school, you're putting all the work in, your undergrad courses, your advisors are helping you through it. Then you have your MCAT exams and so forth, and you got to get the grades to get to medical school. That's the first step. But the goal for you is to make sure that this is your dream. This is your passion. This is what you want to do in the future is to take care of patients and do this dream. And so you got to keep the pace in doing that, right? So my word of wisdom to a lot of students in general is, you always get what you put into it. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of efforts. Learn things. Don't just memorize right now. If you're just memorizing, medicine is about repetition. You learn again and again. That's what we do residency. It's repetition. Urinary tract infection is a urinary tract infection. They're similar, but there are nuances to each person. Each person is different. Each antibiotic's different. Everything's different. But learn things like right now in your undergrad, learn your stuff. Don't memorize because in medical school, you're going to be accelerated. So if you don't have a great foundation in undergrad, it's going to hurt you in medical school because you're going to learn that stuff. So like, for example, biochemistry, learn that stuff well in undergrad. So when you go to medical school, it's a crash course. I mean, you're going to learn stuff. It's accelerated, right? Medical school is not about, it's like, it's the analogy some people say is like the drinking from the fire hose. And it sometimes is like that but also to me, I always tell students it's like a stack of pancakes. I'm gonna give you a stack of pancakes today, and there's so much to learn, but you're not gonna finish eating today because there's so much. Then the next day, you got to eat the ones that you left over from the day before, but I'm going to give you a new stack of pancakes. Medicine and medical school is just a lot of volume and the pace is so I always tell students learn to be efficient in your undergrad studies, learn to learn the material, don't just memorize. Work hard, play harder. I also add, don't get in trouble, right? work hard, play hard, getting in trouble, getting arrested, getting, anything with the legal law system is going to get you, it's going to be harder for you to get to medical school. There's thousands of people applying to medical school and only so much seats. We have 3,500 to 4,000 applicants every year for only 150 seats in our school. So, but also don't forget where you came from, your accomplishments. Be proud of yourself. Who's going to toot your horn except for you? That's what sets you aside from the next candidate that's applying to medical school. All of you are going to be the same. Grades, GPA, MCATs, extracurricular. But what sets you aside? Where's your upbringing? What brought you, what drove you to wanting to become a physician or a healthcare provider? Okay. And don't forget your support system. I always tell students, some of you have families, some of you are married, some have, partners, make sure that they're on the journey with you because if they're not in healthcare, they will never know what that means, right? They will never know all the times you have to study. They don't won't know, but they can be with you and be a great support system because all of us need it because this is going to be a tough journey ahead of you, right? And medicine is always a constant learning and just really have fun. It's the first 2 years, you're not really seeing patients. You're just learning how to to learn the knowledge base to become a doctor. Third and fourth year is really the fun part. You actually try to apply and put things together and then residency and so forth. But that is the journey that you have that you're going to go along. And it's always cute, doctor starts with DO. Okay. So the only thing I have for you is you got this. If this is your journey, is your dream to the dream that you have, there's a ladder to get there, but that ladder is worth the effort if this is what you want to do. Okay. So you got this. All right. So that's all I got for my presentation. I mean,